Hello, this is Ms. DB. In this video, I'm going to continue showing you how to use the Gizmo. And in the first video for this, I showed where to find this, but it's called adding and subtracting integers. Let's see if I can get back there. And we did the adding part in the first one. There's both adding or subtracting. Where's my... Here we go. So it's the one that says adding and subtracting integers. And we want to launch the Gizmo. And the first part was on adding, now we're going to do subtracting. Alright, so the worksheet, there's two parts to the worksheet. This is optional, you do not need to complete the worksheet. I thought the Gizmo was nice to demonstrate how you would add and subtract integers on a number line, but you don't have to fill the worksheet out unless you want to for extra credit. Alright, so we are going to set the value of the first integer to 5. And you can do that by typing in the box. And the second integer to 3. And you can do that by sliding, or you can use the box. So here I have 5 minus 3. And we can see that the red arrow, we started at 0 and we went to the right 5 units. So we went right 5. And it says, what is the length and direction of the blue arrow? So we started here at 5 where our red arrow left off, but we're going to go to the left. So the minus 3 told us to go to the left 3. And 5 minus 3 is 2. We can see we end up at 2, and we probably knew that anyway. When we were doing adding, we could do the same thing where we went both first to the right and then to the left. Let's see if we can get the same answer with 5 and 3 to get to 2. So 5 and 3 to get to 2. Well, that's not getting me to 2, that's getting me to 8. What if we put a negative on one of them? What about 5 plus negative 3? That's the exact same thing as the subtracting problem that we did. Remember that? When we had, it's changing my numbers each time. 5 minus 3 equals 2, and 5 plus negative 3 is also equal to 2. And that's important because when we stop using the number line and start using the rules, that is basically using the rules, changing this subtraction into its equivalent addition sentence. Let me show what that is again. 5 plus negative 3 is equal to 2. They're the same sentence. 5 minus 3 equals 2. 5 plus negative 3 equals 2. We get the same answer either way. Try other positive values for the second integer. When subtracting a positive integer, in what direction does the blue arrow point? So let's try subtracting some other positive numbers. We know that when we subtracted 3, the blue arrow pointed to the left. What if we subtract a bigger number? The blue arrow is still moving to the left. What if we subtract a small number? The blue arrow is still moving to the left. So no matter what kind of numbers we subtract, if they're positive, the arrow moves to the left. Let's see what happens for the next example. 5 minus 8 they want us to do. So again, we're subtracting a positive number, and we get an answer of negative 3. So we're taking a small number and we're subtracting a bigger number, and we ended up with a negative number. Let's try a different small number, and we'll subtract a big number. 2 minus 9 and see what happens. We also got a negative number. So if you're subtracting a number that's larger than the first number, it looks like we get a negative. How about if we do 3 minus 4? That's also equal to negative 1. So it looks like whenever we subtract a number that's bigger than our first number, we get a negative number. All right, let's look at what happens when you subtract a negative, or you have a negative number first. So let's take, this will be negative 5, all the way down to negative 5. And our second number is going to be minus 8. All right, so we started out with 0, of course, and then we go to the left 5 because negative 5 tells us move to the left, and then we subtracted another 8. So that moves us even farther to the left. So negative 5 minus 8 ends up with negative 13. We did a problem like this on the first part of the worksheet in the first video. Maybe it wasn't quite exactly that. It was close to this one though. Let's see if we can figure out exactly how we would get negative 13 when subtracting if we start with negative 5. So if we start with negative 5, that doesn't give us 13. What if we change this to a negative? Now we get negative 13. So negative 5 minus 8 is negative 13. And so is negative 5 plus negative 8. They're both equal to negative 13. They're equivalent expressions. You get the same answer either way. So we went from a minus problem, a subtracting problem, and we turned it into an addition problem, but we get the same answer for both of them. And again, that's going to be the key when we do the rest of the subtracting integers worksheet, is that you can change subtraction into addition by adding the opposite. All right, let's look at what happens when you have a positive number minus, we've got to go back to subtracting, positive number minus a negative. Here we have 2 minus a negative 8. I'm going to change that to a negative 7 so it matches the worksheet. So I start out going 2 to the right, but look here, instead of the minus sign telling me to go to the left, the minus a negative tells me to go even more to the right. So that's interesting. So it's like these two minus signs, the minus and the negative, are undoing and turning it into a plus, because going to the right is usually a positive sign. So 2 minus a negative 7 is equal to 9. Positive 9. That's the same as if we had 2, not plus negative 7, plus 7. 2 plus 7 is also equal to 9. And 2 minus negative 7 is equal to 9. So when we had a minus a negative, that was exactly the same answer as 2 plus positive 7. So our equivalent expressions are 2 minus negative 7 and 2 plus 7. Let's try subtracting other negative numbers from 2. So let's try, what if we subtracted negative 1? Again, 2 minus negative 1. It's almost like we did 2 plus 1. 2 this way, and then 1 more. 2 minus negative 4 is the same as 2 plus 4. So subtracting a negative is equal to adding a positive. Here's one with 2 negatives, negative 4 minus negative 9. So what will be the direction of the red arrow? The red arrow tells us that's the first one. So if it's a negative, it should go left. And the blue arrow is minus a negative. Do you think that'll go left or do you think it'll go right? And then here's another question to think about. What do you think negative 4 minus negative 9 equals? So let's check. We're going to change this to negative 4. There's negative 4 minus negative 4. That's 0. But we want minus negative 9. Almost there. There we are. Is that what you got? Negative 4 minus negative 9 is equal to 5. That's the same as negative 4 plus 9. And we get 5. So negative 4 minus a negative actually goes to the right, and we got back to 5. So you can use this gizmo to work or to check when you do your subtracting integers worksheet. You do not have to do the Gizmo exploration worksheet unless you want to and submit it for extra credit. And if you just want to do one part of it and turn it in, that's fine too. But I did like the way the Gizmo shows what's exactly happening on a number line when you add or subtract integers. Thank you. Have a great day.